Afternoon, you positive warriors. It's Cliff Yates, everybody. Yeah, I'm live today. YouTube, vertical mode. Why? A couple reasons. It's important. Go raw and real in today's day and age. Too much AI, over-edited, over-polished creativity out there, and you don't know if it's real. This is real, everybody. Cliff Yates Live. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. You're in the right place. Everything is personal growth, self-improvement, inspiration, motivation. How can we live a better life today than we did yesterday? Something I've studied, immersed myself in the past 35 years. It's served me well mentally and physically. All right, everybody, I'm on the way to the gym. I'm excited now that I'm on my way because I did not feel like working out today. I think we've talked about this before. Don't trust your feelings. I did not feel like working out today, but I had it on my schedule. That's why it's important to throw stuff on the schedule, because once you habituate, once you get in the habit of keeping your appointments with yourself, you are loyal to yourself. Number one person. You, when you're loyal to yourself on a habitual basis, then you know you're always going to keep your appointments with yourself. And when you keep your appointments with yourself, you're going to know that that's kind of a standard that you hold, and you'll hold that with other people. You will keep your appointments with other people too. But number one is the number one person in your world. That is you. You're the most important person. And you have something that's so unbelievable. No other living organism has it. You have the power of choice. Today, I had scheduled my workout, and I hammered the legs hard yesterday. It was leg day, motivation Monday, and leg day. And instead of being reasonable, I banged out a leg workout that, like I expected, was going to have me pretty sore today, but that's okay. And I had to get up this morning and play tennis. No problem. Moving around the tennis court, I loosened up a little bit. Got home, had the afternoon meal, and then I thought, well, I had a hard workout yesterday. I played tennis for 2 hours today. I mean, hey, that's a workout, really. I know I have it scheduled to do chest and back today in the gym, but you know what? I don't need to. And then I said, BS, I'm going to the gym the way I scheduled it. I want my outside circumstances to reflect my inside world. My inside world says I train hard and I train consistently. So I want my outer appearance to reflect that. I'm getting my ass to the gym right now. It's a beautiful day here in Florida. Shows 80 degrees. I don't know if it's that warm. It sure feels like it's 80 degrees. How warm is it where you're at? I hope it's 80. I know my mom, who's 90 years young in upstate New York, it is not 80. But I know they had some warm weather there yesterday. I don't know if you're involved at all with NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. Started in the 1970s by Richard Bandler and John Grinder. They were studying therapies where people were making changes in how they thought, how they processed information to heal themselves from phobias and anxieties. And these two guys got together. One was a computer whiz. One was a language student. And they got together and they thought, hey, how can we use what a couple of these therapists use to not just get healed, but what if normal people, normal, I mean, people who aren't suffering from anything, what if they use some of these techniques and tactics and strategies in how they thought just to get better, to model excellence, to just have a better life? And so they came up with neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro mean your nerves, your neurological process, and then language, how we talk to not only ourselves but other people, and then program, how we program ourselves, because we tend to operate in patterns. Hey everybody, thank you, good afternoon, thanks for checking in. It's Cliff Yates. I'm live. I'm heading to the gym, everybody. Maybe I'll see you there. We're going to hit chest and back today. We do a split routine this week. Legs are yesterday, or were yesterday, and we did a good job. Tennis this morning, and now we're going to hit chest and back. Not because I felt like it. I felt like not doing it, but it was on my schedule, and I keep the appointments with myself. Now, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is really nothing in and of itself. It really is a collection of how we process the data that comes into our brain through sight, sound, hearing, taste, touch. And we all have a preference on how we process information. And if you know how other people process or prefer to process information, you can use that to develop rapport with them, communicate with them better. And you can tell by the language they use, right? If they're always saying, you know, this sounds like a good idea, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, those words are important. That means they kind of prefer auditory stuff. They probably listen to audiobooks. They really prefer sound over video. Now, we're all a combination of everything. But then if you have somebody who says, I see what you're saying. You know, I'm trying to picture what you mean. Yeah, I tell you what. Looking from the outside in, I see the promise of what you're starting here. That's a person who's predominantly visual in how they access information or prefer to process it. And you can use that to your advantage. And I don't mean in a manipulative way, just to better be understood by those people. You know they like visual stuff. So if you're trying to sell them a house, you would say, hey, can you picture yourself living here? Can you look at this? Look at this view. I see you sitting right here, looking at this view. Wouldn't that be a beautiful sight? You're starting to use the language that they use, that they like, they prefer. They're going to start liking you, and they won't even know why. Now, some people say NLP is kind of manipulative, but it doesn't have to be. It can be used in a positive way to develop rapport with people who you're trying to communicate with on any basis. Could be a relative, could be a spouse, brother, sister, mother and father. Damn it, I've arrived at the gym. I even drove slow because I wanted to put it off. But I got to get it done, but not until I recognize and acknowledge you. Frank Tiberio said hi. Frank Tiberio. Frank from my high school, from my hometown. Frank, who was someone I looked up to in high school, because as I've talked about, I was so skinny in high school. I got immersed in how can I get bigger? How can I learn how to weight train, get some size? And Frank Tiberio is on here right now from my high school 50, 60 years ago. And he was someone I looked up to who was a big guy. This guy hit the weights. I mean, he had a physique, and he still does. Frank, you look great. But Frank has consistently lifted heavy weights, I want to say 60 years, right, Frank? Frank, I'm so happy you jumped on here because you were somebody that I looked to and says, hey, I have a vision as to how I want to get bigger. I remember going to a bar, a nightclub back in the 70s, the Varsity, and man, Frank was one of the bouncers there. Oh my God, that was so cool. And man, Frank, you're still big today. I mean, you've maintained your size. And so it's good to have someone to look up to that has a vision. And that's all about modeling, right? Find somebody who's where you want to be and start doing the things that they do. And so Frank was someone close to me, right? A couple years ahead of me in high school. Huge, lifting heavy weights, and a vision of where I wanted to get to and where I wanted to be. Now, Frank's body type is different than me. It's more husky. I wish my body type was that way, but it's not. Frank, you're still a mentor, buddy. Still looking up to you. I love it. Keep posting your pictures because I know you're still hitting a heavy iron, and I appreciate that. We can do it till the end. Let's keep going. Brother, do not stop. North Carolina, Ryan Rowe, 181, 60 degrees. Not bad, brother. Brittany Freeman, 189. How are you, Brittany? Awesome. So, put yourself out there like I'm doing today, because you never know. You might connect with somebody from your past. Frank DeBario. Damn it, Frank, I was on the west side of Florida. I know you're over there somewhere near Tampa, I believe. But it was a short trip for me. I was only there 48 hours. But all right, everybody, I'm hitting the gym. I'm going to get it done today. And I'm going to remember those days, Frank DeBario, back in the 1970s. The Varsity Inn, when Frank, still big today, but really big back then, bouncer at the Varsity Inn. Got the image in my mind. That's how big I want to be. Frank DeBario, someone I looked up to that was big. I wanted to get to that size. And here he is today, everybody. All right, if you haven't already, subscribed to the channel. Everything positivity, motivation, but I am a little crazy motivated. I have a maniacal energy that I try to focus, that is controlled, and that's the only way to hit your target. We don't want maniacal energy, which is out of control, destructive, causes friction with other people. No, we want to direct our energy in a positive way, and overcoming maniacal energy is not weak, it's actually strength. All right, everybody, you know I love you. I will see you in the next video.